Welcome everyone to our channel DevHacks 360, and in today's episode we're going to talk about very hot topic. A lot of companies touch on this topic in today's market called prompt engineering. And today I have two guests with us to discuss this topic in details with vivid examples. And I would like to first introduce Vasyl. Vasyl is a seasonal web dev who's specializing in the playwright, UI automation, API testing. He contributed to many projects in the large enterprises such as Grammarly and small startups. He's also the author of a few courses. Vasyl, welcome.
Thanks, Igor, for such warm introduction. So I'm really looking forward to discuss how AI and automation can simplify the lives of testers and developers, of course.
So nice to have you with us. And I'm thrilled to introduce another guest, Daniel. Daniel is the IES developer, as well as the IES SDAT, with a deep experience in automating complex workflows. Daniel, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, Igor. Excited to share some kind of insights in iOS automation and how we are using AI to tackle some new challenges.
Yeah, and by the way, Daniel is an ex-Tinder contractor. He worked on a large code base for thousands of tests, so he definitely has something to say about this topic. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have weekly episodes coming in on hot topics in software testing. Don't forget to hit notification bell button not to miss our podcast. I also would like to mention that the sponsor of our channel is Marathon Labs, which enables to run thousands of mobile tests under 15 minutes and make shift left actually a true story. Also, for any further discussions, if you'd like to keep elaborating on such topic as a prompt engineering, we have a complimentary Discord community. You can find the link for the Discord community down in the description of this video. And finally, let's move to the fun part. With the massive layoffs and slow market in tech, a lot of uncertainty right now in the software quality space. Many companies' leadership have notion that AI can replace traditional quality processes and replace existing QA roles. And in the midst of everything that happens right now in the market, prompt engineering emerges a new skill set as per se even a profession. And today we're going to dive deep into this discussion, and both Vasyl and Daniel will provide us with their stories about prompt engineering, their examples from the trenches of software test automation, both in the web and iOS worlds. Daniel, how do you see AI transforming automation workflow, especially in iOS field?
So yeah, basically AI has changed the landscape 100%. So in iOS, AI helps simulate real user behavior. And with prompt engineering, we can create realistic scenarios like, I don't know, simulating user interactions so with some kind of notifications, or maybe testing under heavy usage. And yeah, AI lets us handle this without like complex scripts.
Fascinating. Would you say that these AI tools also make it easier for the newcomers to get started with automation?
Absolutely. So tools like ChatGPT can suggest code snippets or like solutions, acting like an assistant that helps avoid common problems. And this is especially available in iOS, where handling Apple unique interactions can be very tricky.
Vasyl, any comments on this on your side?
Yeah, 100% agree. The same in the web automation. AI tools like ChatGPT quickly suggest solution when we hit the testing roadblock, saving ton of the time.
Interesting. Daniel, let's get more specific with the prompt engineering. How exactly are you using prompt engineering with IES test automation? Could you maybe provide any example for the audience so they can see in-depth kind of breakdown of prompt engineering?
Yeah, sure. So a good example is testing like multi-touch gestures in maybe in a map app. instead of scripting each gesture, I use some kind of prompts to describe this interaction, like pinching to zoom in, rotating the map, or maybe panning across different regions. And AI then generates the code, making it much easier. Maybe let me show you an example of the AI-generated response and demonstrate something. Okay, so let me share my screen. So yeah, as you can see on the screen here, we have like the perfect prompt formula, let's say. And it consists of, let's say, 6 parts from, let's say, these components arranged by importance. First of all, we have here a person. It's defined who ChatGPT should act as. For example, you are an experienced iOS developer. Second, we have a context. We give it some background information to set up the scene for the task. Next, we have task, where we need to clearly define what we need. For example, write a Swift function that validates an email address. After that, we have a format. We need to specify the format we expect. After that, we have some kind of example, if you had one. And yeah, of course, the tone. Do we want, I don't know, detailed explanations or something more concise? We can just write, like, keep the code simple and efficient. Let me show you maybe an example. Yeah, here we have a prompt example. Let's read it. You are an experienced iOS developer working on an app where users provide email address for registration, and we need to write a Swift function that validates if an email address is properly formatted. We need also provide the function with comments explaining each step. We give him example input here, and we ask him to keep the code simple, clean, and efficient. Now, let me show you more like real scenario, real world example. Let me share ChatGPT. So yeah, here I have one big, let's say, prompt. Let's copy it. And I want to make here an attention. So let's see. Here we have you, an experienced iOS developer specialized in UI automation with Xcode test. So here we define our person. After that, we have you're working on automating a test scenario in Apple Maps, where the goal is to validate specific user actions, including searching for location, selecting it on the map, and saving. After that, we give him a context. After that, we have write a Swift UI test function for Xcode test to automate the following sequence in Apple Maps. Here is the task. They provide him a steps of that task. After that, we specify the structure of the code to have code in a modular format with clear helper functions. We don't actually give him some kind of example here, but we ask him for be concise, efficient, to have concise, efficient code with some kind of comments. So let's try to ask him. Let's input that prompt. And yeah, what we have here. As you can see, after that, we have some kind of input. And as we discussed previously, using this structure, we have different comments. Our code is divided into logical parts using some kind of functions. And I think after that, he will give us instructions how the code actually works. So let's wait and see. Yep, assertion. Yep, and here we have an explanation. So yeah, you can read the explanation to make sure that you are similar what is going on here. Maybe for now, let's keep that explanation and just copy our code and paste it in our initial project to see what we have here. So yeah, maybe let's run something. Let's run our test. Yeah, we have this actually here.
That's amazing. You basically, just by using the right prompts generate the code, and it seems like it helps you to bootstrap quickly, right, from zero to the first test scenario, right?
Yeah, 100% agree with you. It's like a perfect starting point, like making some kind of blueprint of our test to be good to start. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, we have our app. We run that. And what's going on? Okay. Our test fails. It fails on search for location step. And I want to mention that the problem is that our ChatGPT doesn't have the full context of our project, of our app, which you have. And you need to know that it's a good assistant, first of all. And let's say it's your like Copilot, yeah? It doesn't know anything about your, I don't know, identifiers or some kind of UI structure, but it's the perfect point to start. After some kind of debugging iteration, let's say in ChatGPT, let me show you what I achieve here. As you can see, the code is pretty similar. So we have like the same test. And let's try to run that. Yeah, I hope it will be quicker.
So while test runs, I just want to ask you a few questions. Like question number one is that you're saying that AI, right, doesn't have any context of application under test. That's a bold statement. Means that you still need to guide it through in terms of like tweaking AI generated code to make sure it aligns with the layouts of application, right? Underlying code and boilerplate code. So you have to still do it everything yourself. There's no like magic bullet, right?
Yep, you're right. You need to give him more context to have the better input. And as you can see here, our test is successfully passed. And answering your question, Igor, as always, the better way you provide him some input, the better output you will get. And that's it. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
So, yeah. And that's it. It's, as I mentioned before, using ChatGPT for using prompt engineering techniques, it's a good starting point. But want to mention you need to apply your own knowledge, your own design, architecture principles to have more scalable, maintainable code. And yeah.
Thank you, Daniel, for such a detailed example and show like prompt engineering in action. I know you're just scratching the surface right now, but for the folks who just watching this video, I have a great news. When we were basically preparing to shooting this episode, Vasyl and Daniel, we all decided that would be nice to dive deeper because we're not going to have enough time, to spend like 30, 40 minutes to actually go in depth. So we've decided to do a webinar. A more detailed webinar on prompt engineering is going to happen November 21st. It's going to be live webinar, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can find the link to register for this webinar in the description of this video as well. So we're looking forward for you guys to see the webinar. If you cannot make it and if you live in different time zone, still I encourage you to register for this webinar so we can share the recording of this webinar with you thereafter. So yeah, that would be a great opportunity altogether dive deeper in what Daniel just showed to us.
Yeah.
And what about
there, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. What about web testing, Vasyl? In web test automation, I know you're a playwright expert. Is there any similarities? Is that the same complexity there, or it's much more easier to apply prompt engineering to get aligned results in terms of code generation for tests in the web test automation?
So this is kind of similar to what is Daniel was showing us, because we can have some boilerplate for our tests, etc. But it's only the boilerplate. You cannot have the large large project introduced with the ChatGPT or something. So the prompt engineering actually let us simulate a variety of user behavior quickly. Like, for example, testing a login page, so I can prompt the AI to generate the test cases, right? And but the super simple one, like incorrect password, two-factor authentication, and many more. Yeah, but in general, is a great way to start. So far, I saw from the Daniel demo, I can easily start the iOS testing myself, and I definitely will try it myself with the ChatGPT.
Yep.
That's amazing. Thank you. That's great. Daniel, consider the complexity of iOS development. And again, I just want to re-emphasize, Daniel is not just test automation engineer, he is iOS developer. So he knows both worlds. Obviously, iOS development is very different from web development. It has a completely different environment, completely different SDK. And Apple itself is just very different cake from the rest of Android and web platforms. So consider the complexity of iOS projects, right? Are there any specific challenges you face with prompt engineering when we're using, again, we're talking in context of XUI test automation for specifically for the Apple products like iOS, Apple TV, Apple Watch, you name it, right? All of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking about that, I think like timing and syncing animations are tough in Apple ecosystem, let's say. And using prompts to adjust those parameters helps, but keeping up with Apple updates and making sure prompts stay relevant is an ongoing work, really. Maybe let me share some quick story here. There was a time when an iOS update introduced subtle changes to the way the animation rendered, and this is ended up affecting our app's interface a lot. And after the update, some of animations like I don't know, button sliding into some kind of view or transition between screens, they started to appear slightly delayed, causing a jarring experience for users. And this timing shift led to some kind of visual glitches where elements synced out of sync, and yeah, especially during transitions. And to fix that, we used AI generated prompts to recalibrate these animation timings, helping us quickly adjust parameters without diving deep into manual tweaks for each transition. And this was really invaluable. So as we could apply prompt-driven adjustment across various animations and test them instantly. And that's it. Without this approach, we would have spent a lot more time on our debugging sessions. Yeah.
So this example, as far as I understand, is more towards development problem solving, right? But it actually applies in the testing world as well.
Yeah, I think so. AI, I think, yeah, you mentioned that it's not only like developer world, we faced with that in our automation cases, using some automation scenarios, for example, animations. We need to automate them. We need to check everything. And, if we will have some kind of glitches, the test will show that. And yeah, I think it's applicable for both worlds, let's say.
So, Daniel, do you think the AI could eventually solve these challenges, like, I don't know, real-time syncing? What do you think?
I think so. AI is already helping us with predictive analysis. And as it evolves, I believe that AI tools will adapt automatically to new iOS versions, for example, making some kind of scripts more resilient to changes.
Great. For the folks who are watching us, I hope they're enjoying the discussion. Again, if you have any questions, I would like to go deeper in this topic. Not only the webinar will be on November 21st, but Discord community. Both Vasyl and Daniel are contributors to this community. They post interesting articles in there. They answer questions for or web and mobile automation engineers in the various channels. Again, you can find the link for our Discord community down in the description, so don't hesitate to join, and don't be a stranger. Pop some question or just be a guest. Let's shift the gears and talk about specific AI tools for iOS. Are there exist specifically for Xcode? Daniel, do any stand out specifically for test automation? If you can make any examples of those tools for our audience, would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So alongside Apple Sexy Test, we all know it, I hope, which now has capabilities to detect some kind of issues in real time. We're seeing a major advancement with tools like ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot. Just recently, I want to mention that Copilot introduced official integration with Xcode, which is huge for iOS developers, stats, automation engineers, and this integration allows Copilot to offer code suggestions directly within Xcode, streamlining the coding and debugging process, and it's fantastic. In addition, I want to mention that I think Xcode 16, the latest version, now includes its own AI-driven code completion feature. And this fantastic feature because it shows that AI and machine learning power tools, they becoming more deeply integrated and deeply embedded to the iOS development, fully workflow. And I think given the positive trends, it's clear that AI tools will only continue to grow in influence and making our development and automation process smarter, faster, and more efficient. Maybe,
That's amazing.
Let me show one more example to have
Would be nice. Yeah, that would be great.
Workshop
Please.
here.
Don't be a stranger.
Dynamic stuff. Yeah, okay, let me share again. And just here, let's try to create a blank playground here. Yep. Okay, so that's it. We have a blank playground. I don't know. Let's write something. Okay, let's write a simple example of maybe indirect enumeration and function. Okay, let's say it will be math operation enumeration. And we need to provide some cases here. Case number, we need to associate some type with that, let it be integer. Case addition. And as you can see here, it actually gives us, it helps us to know what we need to write after our brackets. And actually, this is it. I need two types of math operation here. I just press tab one time, and after that, as you can see, we have another prediction that we need another case, but with multiplication. And after that, I try to, I click tab, and that's it. So clicking tab 2 times, I have fully packaged, let's say, our enumeration. And let's try to use our enumeration. Oh, now I just write a func keyword, and even I don't know what to write next, but this Xcode prediction tool, he gives me an actual output, how I can use my enumeration using some kind of function. And this function evaluates, and 100% agree that I need it. As you can see, I press tab one time, and after that, it gives me, after our function signature, it gives me the full body of the function. And there is no need to write code by your own. As you can see, everything is done. Just tap tab button, and that's it. As you can see, I need just to write one func keyword to have fully completed function. So let's test it. Let's create some kind of product. let it be, I don't know, addition of number 10 and multiplication of two numbers 5 and 2. So here we will have a 10 plus 10, we will have 20. Okay, so let's evaluate our product and see if our function works correctly. Yeah. Maybe guys, you have some questions, because I think I will play.
Oh, that's absolutely. I mean, it looks exciting. The question is, how legit is the actual code generation? Is this code is up to your standard? Is it like, do you think that the function was automatically, pre-populated by AI embedded into Xcode, the one you can trust?
Yeah, as we discussed before, like we want to say that there is no like silver bullet, but in my specific case, in that case, I want to write this evaluate function and it gives me this prediction and write everything like in a good way, really. So yeah, I can change here something, for example, to write here not to duplicate our let keywords. I can write just left and right here. Yeah, but it's small typos, maybe some kind of, I don't know, needs, let's say. But yeah, so let's back to test us our function. But yeah, in the, let's say in the large scale projects, I hope with future versions of this predictive tool, it will have an opportunity to analyze full context of your project and give you like the best outputs using some I don't know, best practices such as architecture principles, solid principles, and patterns. But yeah, every time you need to analyze which code do you have, which output do you have, and what is going here. Without your understanding and your like fully integration into this process, I think you will have you just need to know what you do and how you do. It's just a tool, just your Copilot, let's say.
So that would be a great buddy, Daniel, right? For some seasonal coders and the beginners, right?
When 100% agree.
Cool.
Great.
We have here some kind of recursion. Yeah,
that's amazing. Amazing. Vasyl, would you have similar integration in the web, like Playwright world, web automation world? Would you share something on your side? I'm just curious to see.
Yes, the similar approach worked for web applications too. I use the GitHub Copilot a lot, so it really saves times with the automation once writing the test. Sometimes it's a bit off. I mean, which can slow things down, but overall is helpful. So I will show you a couple of ways, and I will use how I use Copilot actually for my daily test automation. So the Copilot is basically the extension in a Visual Studio Code. Why I know the Copilot is running here, I have the small icon right there. And basically I prepared a couple of test cases here, how I use Copilot in daily basis. The first case is how I use Copilot the most. Sometimes I even don't think or don't expect some code to be generated. But in general, we have some example login test with the valid credentials. So in this test, I also left a couple comments, right? Because at the end, we need to assert something and wait for some navigation after the URL changes to the dashboard. So what I'm doing here, I'm just pressing the enter right now. And the thing is the Copilot instantly suggesting us some code. This could be market. This one is actually market depreciated. So the Copilot cannot sync with the latest version of the Playwright. But in general, this would still work for the Playwright test execution. And I'm pressing enter after the last message, and it also suggesting the fully valid and workable code. And the interesting thing here, if the file would have like 50 tests, right? the Copilot would work even better, because the more context you gave him, the better code it's producing. So the second case is actually when we need to verify something inline. It's basically called inline chat in Copilot. So for this case, let's actually, I prepared the prompt for us, and you can see it's also suggesting inline. I'm just pressing escape here. We don't need the inline suggestion right now. What we need is actually to open the inline chat. I'm pressing the command or control plus I to actually ask Copilot for something. And as you can see from, I'm not going anywhere, and from line, we can actually ask the Copilot some command. There is like docs, explain, fix, and if we will have some problems here, or generate unit test for selected code. It's basically super useful for front-end developers. And I prepared some prompt here. So we need to finish the current test with the assertion of present the contact form elements, email, and message. I'm hit the enter. So the reason why I do not use this one much, because it sometimes didn't get my questions, and this is okay, because sometimes it could generate the proper result, but this time it didn't generate the didn't finish the test, but instead create the new test with fill out the form contact and submit. We still can copy paste this code, but in my case, it didn't really work. We are expecting to actually have only one line change. So just be careful with using this command, because it's really expecting the clear prompt. And from this case scenario, I just need this code, and we'll discard the test. And the last test case I'm using, it's kind of also the most, it's pretty much useful with the explanation of the documentation itself, or once you are new to the project, it's super useful when you need to get more knowledge of the project. So there is an empty test, and we need to submit form with mock data. And I also prepared the prompt here, and we will open the chat right there. So basically, it's super useful because I don't need to go to any ChatGPT or anything. I will just ask Copilot from right here. So I have it. I have my prompt here. So based on the previous test, please write the test that will fill the form with mock data and submit it. We don't need that one, and enter. So the GitHub Copilot easily catch the context, even if you've seen I didn't provide any context to him, so he instantly understands that I am inside this file. So and yeah, we just can copy paste it right there. Of course, I will be not running any test, because it's a basic example to show how the Copilot understands the code.
Our code from my example works normally, and yeah, we got our actual result, and everything works smoothly. So yeah.
Great. Just have a question actually for both of you. Maybe you, Daniel, can answer first, and you, Vasyl, next. So do you see, you show that advantages and disadvantages of using AI infused tools like Copilot embedded in the project, ChatGPT as well, and obviously other LLM models will work in a similar way. But do you see that AI is moving forward or towards proactive problem identification? So right now it's mostly basically creating a code snippets, code completion. But like you mentioned, both of you mentioned, the larger the code base for test, the better the model will get, fed up with the enough code to make a better prediction, right? But what about problem identification? The code smells. And maybe we'll start with Daniel. What are your thoughts on this? And then Vasyl can elaborate on that.
Yeah, answering your question, yeah, I think the main problem now that, we have a lot of, let's say, precondited context before, when our model trained on a batch of data. And that not all the code nowadays is good. And I think the main problem using this kind of tools, which can automate our work, especially for rookies, is that they have no, let's say, understanding how the best practices in development, in automation, which kind of best practices do we have. And if we try to just dummy copy pasting a bunch of code, doesn't learning, it will provide a lot of problems later, especially in their code base. Let's say I don't know, spaghetti code, not mine table code. That's it. So speaking about some concept of, I don't know, page object model, if you doesn't provide a specific context for, let's say, ChatGPT, I don't know, hi, as an iOS developer or as that, let's write some kind of test using that techniques. The rookie doesn't know which actual techniques we can use to have a more or less good code base, and that's a problem. So yeah, here we have, let's say, as I mentioned before, the better input you will give him, the better context, the better understanding of concepts of, I don't know, page object models, solid principles, something else, the better output you will get. Even maybe he will give you output using that principles. And yeah, I think that's it. So first of all, we need to learn by ourselves, learn our principles, learn development, like to avoid these code smells. And after that, we need to try to use that automation tools, AI tools, to save us a little time.
Well said. Well said. What about you, Vasyl? You want to add anything on top of what just Daniel mentioned?
Yeah, great answer. I just want to share the small perspective. So, yeah, we speak about the problem identification itself. So I think the AI slowly moving to it, because comparing with the 2022, right, we have a huge progress with AI, right? But still, a lot of folks in the IT don't know how to use it properly, as Daniel mentioned, right? It's generating a lot of spaghetti code or other examples. So in general, we need to adapt faster here, and just be ready to use it as a daily basics tool, because at the end there will be somebody who know how to use the AI properly or large language models, and somebody who not. So in my case, I think it's really helped me once maintaining a large project. But still, as we mentioned before, we need to give a lot of data. So, and there is a lot of circumstance where a company needs to be all right with this, and as well as the compliance. So I think we're moving forward, and especially we need to learn together with AI, because it's a powerful tool when it's come for learning, right? In our free course with the playwright automation, we're actually showing how you can learn together with the ChatGPT, because it's fast forward your learning process so much, right? No boring documentation. I agree what Daniel said about the learning process, but the AI is there for you to help you learn also. So yeah, I guess this would be my summary for this.
Yeah, I agree with Vasyl.
Amazing. You both have a very good insights about this. But coming back to my original question is like proactive problem identification. So both of you would say that it's definitely very subjective. You would not trust 100% to AI what it recommends on identifying the problems. You basically try to summarize what you said. You still have to rely on your engineering seniority and your domain knowledge on the project before you can accept it. And you wouldn't trust more junior engineers to make this decision for you. and obviously you basically rely still on seniority, or like senior staff engineers to have domain knowledge of the project, control the project architecture, obviously having and possessing knowledge of how to comply with with a solid principle like SRP, right, integrated in your architecture. If we're talking about test, right, to make sure the code is scalable, and use more LLM models and baked in tools like Copilot for bootstrapping, expediting the process rather than completely replace like code reviews, completely replace code generation. It's more like a booster, right?
Yeah, exactly. Good.
Gotcha. That's what I keep hearing. I mean, we have similar discussions in our webinars, but still, I don't think that existing LM models came to the maturity that we can actually make expert level decision making at the moment. Still not there. And which we segue to my next question: what is the future, right? What do you see, like where both of you see the AI making like the biggest impact in test automation, both in the mobile and web world? Let's say 1 year or like 2 years down the road. Vasyl, maybe we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, as you, Igor, mentioned, me and Daniel decided to elaborate on the exploring engineering with the AI, general for the iOS automation and the development. So on the webinar, which you mentioned on the 21st of November, which will come up at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So a link for this webinar will be in the description of this video. And on this webinar, we want to show you how the AI behave in the predictive testing. So how it's analyzing the code changes to catch bugs early and saving ton of the time, basically. So you will get the workshop there with the ChatGPT, and you will see they have the ChatGPT transform your prompts to code for iOS development. You will get the interactive step-by-step guide provided by Daniel and me. So also we will share our free GitHub repository with the examples, and as well you will gain the essential skills for future-proof iOS development career.
Yeah, and maybe I will continue answering your question, Igor, about the impact on the future for iOS. Basically, I see that I see AI handling device-specific testing scenarios like, I don't know, testing maybe low battery mode or different networks and simplifying testing setups immensely. I think, yeah, it's a near future, let's say.
Thank you, gentlemen, for all of your insights. I think they're very valuable. I'm super excited about the upcoming webinar in on November 21st. Hope that our channel subscribers and viewers of this video will register for that webinar. Again, if you don't have time to watch it because of your work schedule or you're located in different time zone, highly encouraged to still register because we're going to share the recording with those folks who left their email. And obviously, before wrapping up, any last word of advice from both of you to our listeners who basically haven't started using heavily AI and test automation? What you would recommend to them? Again, we can start with maybe Daniel first, and Vasyl can elaborate on that.
Yeah, finalizing. So I think you need to focus on use cases that solve, I don't know, real problems. If you can automate a task that used to take hours and it will save you a lot of time, you already win. So AI is here to simplify your work, so make it for work for you. That's it.
And Vasyl?
Yeah, I think just a straight advice, you need just to start experimenting. Most of the tools cost nothing, and some of them offering you the free trial. So why not to start? AI tools are just becoming more accessible for everyday usage, not even for your development career. So start small and build up.
Just do it.
Well said, both of you. Just one interesting fact about my exploration. When I first start trying GPT in about like, I would say 2022. First task, I want to automate something that helps me in real life. And in United States, DMV, Department of Motor Vehicle, we have to make an appointment, right? It's a nightmare. You have to go through the different locations to find available spots. So I use ChatGPT to generate the Selenium script that actually did it for me. And I basically communicated through like maybe 5 or 6 prompts. I got to the point actually was working. And it's a great example that you can apply it in real life, not only in your task projects at your work. I highly recommend, like what Vasyl and Daniel said, just don't be afraid to jump on it and use it. Both Copilot, they have some certain hours for free. GPT, they have different versions of it nowadays, and go beyond even those LLM models. There's a lot of like Gemini. There's like so many of them available that you can use them at your work and your real life. So again, I would like to thank both of our guests, Daniel and Vasyl, for such informative session. Again, looking forward to see both of you at the webinar on November 21st. And for those viewers who haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so, and don't forget to hit notification bell button, because we're going to release such videos on a weekly basis. And hopefully it's going to help you to obviously remove that uncertainty about your profession. And quality engineering profession is not going to go anywhere. It's just going to evolve. It's going to get better. It's going to get more interesting. And our channel will be, and our Discord community will help you to stay up to date. So again, we'd like to see you as a regular guest. Thank you all. Thank you guys. Take care.